Ulayon idea. So let me call on our first presenter. Our first presenter is Johnny Alegre and Greg. So let's give him a round of applause. Hello, I'm Greg from Taiwan, and let me brief you about the FOP in ESEAP first. And this time we're still waiting for my presentation. Okay, this is a 50 minutes briefing. Then after me, Johnny will share his experiences of promoting the FOP in Philippines. So, thank you. Okay, this just next. So the first question, the next page. The first question is, what is FOP? Next, please. The full name of the FOP is Freedom of Panorama, and that is a special rule in copyright acts in each country, and it's for if you take a picture or take a video, there should be some other artworks in your picture. So we have a special rule to make the copyright annulation required when you take in that images. So if the next page. If without FOP, we will get the right side of our photo because we need the we can take title 101, or we can take another special tower in KK. We should get the strange imagery. Okay, so freedom in Panorama is very important for photographer or for video producer, but there is some detailed differences in the copyright act in every country. The first difference is what works should get this freedom. The buildings will be in the freedom in I think almost in every country, but the other two works, 3D works. Some countries and some governments is that's okay because you take the photo or the video cannot instead of the original works. And if like picture on the wall is not allowed, it's not free in several countries because they think if we take a picture of like that, it's so similar as the original works. Okay, the next page. And the other thing of the act is if all the works in public place is okay. For example, this special picture in MRT station in Thailand is that could be get a freedom, or just the outdoor artworks like the statue of Bruce Lee in Hong Kong. So if in some country like Taiwan, if we put the statue in MRT station, you can get the rights to take the photo and upload. And next, and also sometimes if you take a photo and you want the rights for FOP, the commercial use is allowed. But in some country, you get some limited, or maybe they ask you can just share your photo in non-commercial under the non-commercial use. Okay, so there's three different details in each countries. Okay, next. So what is the situation in ESEAP today? We can see a map. Next, we can see a map on the Wikimedia Commons, and the green area is with full freedom of Panorama. So we can see in China, in Malaysia, in Australia, in New Zealand is with full freedom. But in some other cases, the yellow, like Japan and Taiwan, we guess a little limited, and the Korean or Indonesia, Thailand, maybe with no freedom of karma. So, but the imagery is the last upload of this image is I guess I remember 2015. So maybe the situation has been changed, but we don't change the images. Okay, so the next page. So what does the FOP affect for us? Next. It's on Wikimedia Commons because we only allow the picture with open license. So if there is some limited of commercial use that can share under the CC by SA license. So that will confuse some contributors on Commons. They upload their photo. They think it is Commons to share the photo in free, but then the file will be deleted. So the next page, please. For example, some landmark in Taiwan, we have this problem. This is a milkfish in Tainan city because they have a lot of people like this fish. So they got the mark for their community, and the photo has been deleted, not allowed to upload to Wikimedia Commons. And also the next page. Also, sometimes when we try to participate the Wiki Loves, like Wiki Loves Monument, Wiki Loves folklore, that could be made some problem. For example, the idol in a temple. because Taiwan, the freedom of Panorama in Taiwan, we just allow the outdoor artwork. So somebody will think the idol in temple is in indoor, even it is in public place, but that could not allowed to share under CC by SA. And also the next page. And also this is another important thing. Sometimes it could after for the freedom of speech. During the Hong Kong protests in 2019 to 2020, there is a land war in Taipei to support Hong Kong, the movement in Hong Kong, and photographer Chen Binghua, okay, Chen Binghua take many high quality photo and upload to the comments under CC link, but CC, oh, sorry. And some picture has been deleted. The reason they request the deletion is there is some picture on the sleeping notes, and they think that is artwork, even just like a heart support for Hong Kong, just like that. So I don't want to say that it's a political action for this request of deletion, but it might be the political action someday in the future. So we must attention about that. Do I have a next page? Okay, it's the end. So it's the end of my briefing, and Johnny will share his experiences because I think he lead athlete for this topic, and that's Johnny. It's your turn. Johnny? Yeah, it's your turn. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Let me start with a question. Is is freedom of panorama the elephant in the room? What do we mean by that? Is this something big that we choose to ignore? It's with us there, but it seems safe enough for us to just ignore it so it doesn't exist. And there's no problem because it doesn't exist. We have no hurdles with copyright or anything. We just choose to ignore it. Now, technically, copyright expires 70 years after the death of the artist or the creator. So before that, it's still governed by intellectual property rights. And so we have something to overcome with regards to, for example, how do we upload photographs to Wikimedia Commons without much complication? And so the solution to that is freedom of panorama. Unfortunately, freedom of panorama is a form of legislation that varies from one country to another. Next slide, please. Okay, let us define freedom of panorama. Freedom of panorama is defined as the legal right in some countries to publish pictures of artworks, sculptures, paintings, buildings, or monuments that are in public spaces, even when they are still under copyright. Additionally, freedom of panorama serves as an exception under copyright laws, similar to fair use, that dispenses with the need to secure prior permission from a copyright owner for the use of the work. So it is a way of circumventing the legal obstacles of certain details of copyright ownership. In other words, freedom of panorama is a little known yet important legal right for photographers, netizens, and content creators to freely take pictures of public works of art and architecture found in or seen in public spaces. This is the operative term, a public space. How do we define something that is quote unquote public? So technically, when a creator displays his creation in a public space, there is room now for archivists, photographers, documentarians to actually take photographs of these works in the proper context of the situation. And in so doing, we can provide illustrations and make our articles in Wikipedia more visually appealing and accessible. Because for the longest time, our articles in Wikipedia are in the long form. But the new generation, and perhaps even the generation before the new one, is not patient enough to read through the long form. They want to see something that is actually more accessible and appealing. So let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, so Wikimedia Commons, this is the situation right now. Wikimedia Commons only accepts freely licensed media files as per its Commons licensing policy, such as those with Creative Commons attribution, okay, CC BY, or Creative Commons attribution share alike, CC by SA, but it does not accept fair use, as well as media license non-commercial use, which is CC by NC, non-commercial share alike. So there is a very fine line between what can be uploaded to Commons and what cannot. Therefore, the media repository attends to Creative Commons and Freedom of Panorama with much attention, with zeal, with a dedicated policy page in it. Through Freedom of Panorama, photos of works of architecture and monuments can be hosted in Wikipedia articles and other knowledge platforms, provided that they are in Wikimedia Commons. Otherwise, it's not possible. Let's go to the next slide, please. Now, there is some saving grace to English Wikipedia, because Wikipedia is in its English platform is governed by U.S. laws, and there's legislation in the United States that allows for fair use. Unfortunately, this is only in English Wikipedia, but in the other language projects, we will encounter certain difficulties because this kind of fair use is not universal. So while English Wikipedia accepts photos of unfree architectural no FOP countries condoned by US copyright law, local files may not be used in other language editions of Wikipedia, like my own country, in my own language project, Tagalog, as well as other sites like Wikivoyage and Wikinews. So furthermore, since the US-based Freedom of Panorama applies to architecture only, photos of copyrighted public art, like monuments, cannot be freely hosted in English Wikipedia, despite its acceptance of architecture. So there is a very fine line of contention. Next page, please. Equivalently, in my country, the Philippines, the current version of our copyright law, as it stands, does not have this important exception. So we do not have fair use in my country. So in our language project, it is not possible. So if there is anything that we need to share, it has to be hosted in English Wikipedia, and then we can have a redirect going there. The absence of freedom of panorama in the Philippines curtails Philippine Wikimedians the ability to record contemporary public buildings and monuments through freely licensed photos. Okay, this is a lot of text, but I'm giving it to you in the simplest of ways. Let's go to the next page, please. Note, in Wikipedia jargon, deletion does not necessarily result in permanent removal of the content. They're just placed in stasis, something that cannot be seen publicly, but still there. So if legislation does get amended or introduced or changed in favor of what we would like to have in Wikimedia Commons, it is still possible to have these files available. So there is no permanent deletion. We are only placing them in the parking lot. Okay, so next slide, please. Now, here's what people do is they black out the copyrighted material. So this is in our country. This is a mosque located in our country. Okay, it is the second largest mosque in the Philippines, erected in 2011. So it's still under copyright. However, since the image itself has been blacked out, it is possible we can have it in a Wikipedia article. This is a workaround, but at least it gives us an idea about the scale of the architecture and the shape of the architecture. So there is still a modicum of recognition. There is still a fair amount of knowing what structure is in perspective. Next. It doesn't always happen successfully. This is terrible. Look at this. This is our overpass, our monorail. There's actually a structure here that gets blacked out, and it looks ugly. It's really terrible. So that's the best that we can do, because this is public domain and this is copyrighted. What do we do now? Next slide, please. So some quick fixes. This is what we propose. And this is something that we will have to request our assemblyman, our congressman, our senator, our legislative branch to consider as a viable quick fix. It's not enough, but for the meantime, perhaps we can ask for these favors. We can ask for sculptures for auction or temporary exhibition in malls or galleries. So for example, we're not going to scan the painting, but the painting can be in a hallway and we can take a picture of the hallway containing the painting itself. So that's possible. That is what we're wishing to appeal in our country. Children's works on paper or illustration boards, billboard advertising, campaign material, and posters, banners, tarpaulins, the likes of municipal or church information boards. This is, I believe, we are convinced as a thematic organization, because I am one of the principals of the thematic organization, and we wish to appeal this with our legislature. This is one of our initiatives. We are establishing connections with government officials so that we will be able to enable these small concessions. It's not absolute, it's not large scale, but these are small concessions that we may request for in the interim. So next one, please. Okay, so yeah, next one, please. Okay, here's the situation in our region, okay, and the world at large. There are, out of the 197 countries, 111 have no freedom of panorama. So we're not the only one. We're not the exception. There are 11 without FOP, and 86 have some form of commons compatible FOP. Okay, which is 43%. Almost half, but not there yet. And then of the 86, 79 have adequate freedom of panorama, and 7 of those have partial freedom of panorama, meaning to say it's not absolute. And these are Denmark, Finland, Japan, Norway, Russia, Taiwan, and the United States. So it's only 7 for architecture. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, here are some notable countries with freedom of panorama with variations. Australia, which allows for a British style of copyright. Therefore, it's similar to the British copyright law. And most flat arts like murals and frescoes are covered as a result. So they are able to show paintings, they are able to show drawings, illustrations, so on and so forth. In Malaysia, this is very good, covers almost all works permanently in public spaces. So anything that's in the public space forfeits it's copyright, it's forfeited. But it excludes, of course, blueprints and other technical information that's proprietary. Singapore, with exception to flat arts like murals and frescoes, not allowed. Not, but by and large, the Merlion, I believe, is available and other photos. In Taiwan, there has been a recent development in Taiwan Intellectual Property Office, the TIPO, affirmed that commercial use of monuments under copyright does not conform with the law. It is judged unlawful. So there are exceptions to the policies involved. And in Thailand, features a condition that only works regularly placed in public can be freely used. Therefore, for copyright owners, it is necessary for them, if they want to be really very attached to their works, not to display their works in public or to charge tickets, so it's not public. But once they charge it, once they forfeit the charging of fees and they place it in a mall or in a park, there is some ability for photographers to take photos of them. Next slide, please. So this is the name of my thematic organization, Filipinos Panorama Community, and you can just go to Meta, you can type it, or just type PTC and you will be taken there. And there's much information. In fact, one of our members is so zealous that he has gone beyond just our country itself. He has gone globally with the amount of information that's available. So next slide. This is how it will go. Next slide, please. And you may want to go to DIF, and you can check out some of the articles written about my thematic community. This is a little bit self-serving, but this is what we are. We are a thematic organization. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny. And after our briefing, we have 3 questions which we want to discuss with you. And you can find the questions on the info page. May we show the info page on the screen?
Would we have any comments, remarks, questions, or other insights into what has been presented so far? The floor is open.
Yeah, we'll wait if you have any question. Maybe Johnny can answer.
I believe the presentation has been quite lucid, very clear, but if there are any other further inquiries or anything like that, it would be good.
Yeah, the back we have.
Hey, yeah, I have a few ideas and thoughts, but the main one, I guess, is you mentioned how Commons doesn't actually delete things and keeps them, there. Sorry? Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering about how you mentioned how Commons doesn't delete images, it just keeps them there until maybe a change in FOP laws could happen. But for example, if the law changes, would that necessarily be retrospectively applied to everything? And is that like a consideration? Is that like legally sound? I'm just wondering.
Yes, it's retroactive. So, if the law changes, then, whatever is in the parking lot will be brought to the main page, to the main space. Thanks, Chico. Any further, insights, questions, Robert?
So this regarding the amendments that, Robert, by the way, so this regarding the amendments that, Johnny like to seek for the FOP in Philippines. I have a concern primarily because of the second point. If I remember rightly, it's about children's work on illustrations on paper. Those can be commercially viable. Just a year ago, an 11-year-old painter sold their work for $1.3 million. So think about that. I think there's further need for further thought to before pushing all the way across.
Yes, we have considered that. Many countries, despite their having, no freedom of panorama, just decide to look the other way. And it's not really very strict on a local level with regard to sharing images. However, in Wikimedia Commons itself, the administrators are quite strict. So it affects the content that we have in the different language projects.
Okay, let's start our first talk. It's one. Any other question? Okay, we have three questions to discuss with you, and you can raise your hand to share your idea, or if you feel shy, you can type on our interface. The question one is, who are the stakeholders of FOP in the region, and what are the implications if we get more freedom? I think there's just some shared about this question before, but if you have any other idea, please share with us. Anyone? For example, the Wikimedians should be one kind of stakeholders. If we get more freedom, then we can upload our photo without worry about deletion, right? So, any other ideas? Yeah.
Maybe question and also comment with regards to that. With countries without freedom of panorama, I believe many of the politicians try to eagerly promote their own countries. They upload the monumental historical building in their own social media. And I just want to clarify, if you upload to social media under what law it will be, I mean, will it be shared under Creative Commons, or it will be privately owned by the social media company? And also with regards to that, I mean, have any of us really pushed to our representative, to our government, telling to the government, hey, if you have freedom of panorama in your country, if you make this fully legalized, it will boost your tourism tenfold, because we can easily share your photos around the world. You don't have to do it in your own social media. I mean, we, the community, can help it spread out 100 times faster. So do they really understand what restricting freedom of panorama affects their country? So, oh, should I repeat in a slower speed? I think that's all for me. Maybe Johnny can help also.
You want to comment? Yes, it could be quite self-serving for politicians, because politicians, what they are, being what they are, they would like to promote themselves to the general public to make themselves look attractive, right? So, but still, having all of these things in public forfeits, there is a forfeiture of the kind of ownership that they have, because it is publicly displayed. For example, campaign materials in public transportation vehicles, for example, allows photographers to take those pictures effectively. This is something that we are pushing for in our own country, that such such exceptions to the rule should be applied. And this just borders on public domain, because they displayed it in public. This is a public space. So and besides, I believe that politicians are not going to oppose it anyway, because it promotes them. There is something in these materials that are advantageous to their campaign. So in this respect, this is something that is very much possible, but still in the realm of possibility. As I said, unless it becomes official, then many people will just prefer to look the other way, and that is why I would say that this is just like an elephant in the room. This is something very big that we just choose to ignore. In fact, I had a conversation with one of the administrators in Commons, and he said, "Why are they making such a big thing out of it? Nobody is complaining anyway." But administrators being administrators, they want to be very strict. So this is part of their obligation as administrators.
Thank you. And maybe some other reply about the question? No? Okay, let's get to the next one. So in your location, maybe your country, in your region, are there any difficult point to free the freedom of anyone? Have you tried to request to your government and they say no? They give you some reason, or maybe some people in your country will against get more free. Have you ever think about that?
I do have some parting closing remarks to say, because at the Wikimedia Summit in Berlin, I was privileged enough to attend it. And we had a meeting with the foundation, including Marianne, who's the chief operating officer, chief executive officer. And she asked us a very basic question, like, what are the things that you would like the foundation not to do? It's the opposite. Normally, they would ask, what would you like the foundation to do? But she asked us in the room, what are the things that we should not do? And so my response was, there is something the foundation should not do, and this is very important, is to sit on the fence and watch the arguments go back and forth, left and right. You should step in and say, okay, these are the guidelines, this is the structure, this is the policy. And I believe internally, something will be done about it in the weeks or even just within the year. I pray that something will be done about it because they heard us very, very loud and clear. Natalia was there, Mariana was there. So it's something that's going to be considered. So this is optimistic. This is optimistic news. Yes. Thank you very much for being with us in this room. Is there anyone? Oh, we have something. Well, I mean, if there's something else, do we have anything else? Question number 2.
Okay, the question number 3 is about what place do public space should it count? So, as we know, the freedom of Panorama is only in outdoor or in public space, but some space we think is public, but the other things it's not. So, do you have any idea that some place should be in public, but that might have problem?
May I participate?
Yeah.
How about the seascape and aerial view? Is that still part of the public space?
I don't know. In our experience in Taiwan, there's a special situation that is the platform on our train station. With the top with the top up, but there are no wall, so it's indoor or outdoor. It's in public or not in public. Yeah. So any other ideas? You want to share with us?
Maybe they do not have questions yet, but if you have, later we can accommodate more questions about this topic.
But maybe I think, we can take a rest earlier.
Right, thank you to Greg and Johnny for their amazing presentation. So we still have 2 more light